Hello and welcome to Shay Zaza and Zaza Zooms In. I've got Felix with me again. You met him last time, so you should know him now.
Hello.
And today, what are we talking about, Felix?
Oh, very, very tough one. Marriage. Pre-marriage.
Why is it tough, though? Okay, wait, let me even tell them what the topic. So basically, we're going to talk about what we would say to someone who, before they get married.
Before they get married.
So not in marriage, so pre-marriage. So, okay, go
Pre-marriage.
ahead. Why do you think it's a tough one?
Because we have a lot of women who want to get married, who aren't married.
Okay,
And they are wondering if they will ever get married.
okay.
And the question is, what is stopping them from getting married?
Do you think it's them or do you think it's the men?
Could be both.
Okay, I'm listening.
Could be both. Got to be prepared to be married. Got to understand what marriage actually is.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Were you prepared to be married and did you understand what marriage actually was?
Yes.
How come?
Because I had a girlfriend. And I had to first understand the woman that I would want to marry.
So, okay, do you think that this is a Felix thing? Something that you... Because I don't know that that's quite common. That's why I'm asking the question.
No, that must be just a me thing, Felix thing. But from a biblical thing, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. You notice it said he.
Yeah.
So
he has to do the finding.
he has to do the finding.
Yes.
So
Well,
if
how
the
can you
pool,
find something if you don't know what you're looking for?
if you
Is
know
that
what
what
you're
you
looking
mean?
for,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
But also the pool is quite small.
Yeah.
Because, again, going back to what we may have talked about in a previous discussion, the man has to do the finding. What if the men are not doing the finding? What happens to the woman?
Good point.
Which is what we have now in 2024.
You think the men are not doing the finding?
No. They're not
But
doing
there
the
are men that are... Okay, so describe... So, because there are men that are... Maybe they're not finding a wife, but there are men that are out there disturbing women.
Yeah, they're disturbing women.
For what a better thing.
Yeah, disturbing women.
Okay, so what does it look like to find a wife? When you say... So you've just said that the men are not doing the finding. So what
Yeah.
are the men not doing? What does that find mean? Describe that find.
Finding is finding someone who is compatible to you
How do you do that?
by dating, talking, communicating.
Okay, so you're saying that men nowadays are not dating, talking, communicating. What are they doing?
Communicating. They're doing everything apart from doing that.
Okay, so men need to find a wife, and to find a wife, they have to do something.
Yeah, because you have to be ready to be. Because if you want, so you know, let's work it all the way back. If you ask a man, do you want to have a relationship? Do you want to be married? If the answer to that question is yes,
Yeah.
then there are certain things you need to do
Okay.
to prepare yourself to be married.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Likewise, the woman. If you want to be married, there's certain things you need to do to prepare yourself to be married.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the men have to then take an action. Find somebody who you'd like to be married to.
And to find her, you have to communicate.
Communicate,
Find
approach,
out. Okay.
talk to. But the problem is with how we have this barrier of fear
Fear that what?
to talking to a woman.
Oh, talking. Do you think that still exists?
Not still exists. That is growing wider.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a
Wider.
man, so I don't know. I've always said that I feel like it's harder on men, like what men have to do. Like I wouldn't want to approach somebody just out of the blue and try to make conversation. So I think there's certain things that, but I always then say, but God created the men, so He must have put in them what they need to do that.
Yeah.
But you're saying that the thing is growing wider.
It's growing
So-
wider, yes.
But why is it growing wider? Do you think that the women are just not?
When you hear phrases like "not at my level,"
Hey.
or you know, and I and I think God must laugh so much to think.
I know, because I always think that it's those ones that you get. You know, it's funny because a friend of mine, I remember when I was already married and she was married, but she was successful. She had her own flat. She had a car. it didn't help that the car was a bright yellow sports car, but she had a car, and I remember someone said to her, "You're intimidating the men. That why would you? You know what I mean?" And in my mind, I was like, the man that is yours will not be intimidated by this.
True.
But a lot of men didn't approach her because they just thought, what can I offer?
Well, it's
her?
because they had assumption about her
Yes.
because of the material things that
That
she
they
had.
saw, yes, yes. So, and I think that there's an element, because I think that these days a lot of women are probably more successful than men, or certainly equally successful.
Yes.
And so, where in the past men might have felt like they had something to offer a woman, I think that now maybe not so much. Or I mean, not that they don't have anything to offer, but in the way they would look at it then, that's okay. Well, at least I'll make her life better. If all of the women that that are now successful professionals, whatever, that thing of I will make her life better from a financial material point of view probably isn't. I mean, that really should be the least of their things. They should be looking more at an emotional and a spiritual point of view. But I think maybe they don't. So I don't know.
But then you then get back to that structure, the family structure.
Everything is bad.
So if you go back to the family structure, who is the head of that structure? Who was God ordained to be the head of that structure? The man. Okay. But if you've got everything, why do you need me?
So what are you saying, that we shouldn't have everything?
No, but
That's how he'd be thinking.
yeah,
Yeah, but surely,
because in that dynamic, the Bible says love your wives.
yeah,
Right. So I love my wife, but the next verse says
as Christ loved the
yeah.
church,
But then what did it say to the woman?
submit to your husband.
Now, you the material stuff that you already have,
Yeah.
and maybe the man does not have the same material stuff. Are you going to be submitting to that man?
Well, this thing about submission, I've actually done a thing on submission before. It will be harder. I think for me, the way I see submission is, I think submission is power, and I don't think that submission is a negative thing at all. And I also think, and I also think that, women are helpers, and I feel like the person helping has more power than the person they're helping. So I am quite okay. I'm quite okay with the submission thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, clearly, you need me. So I don't think I would struggle in that, but I can understand why, if you're just looking at it from a material point of view, that you would struggle to submit. Because I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm being a bit, naughty by saying that, because I get it that if you feel like everything financial is coming from your wife, or I can see how that would make you, and how the wife eventually may think, do you know what? I'm not submitting to him, because what is he bringing to the table?
Well, you see that little bit there, that is one of the roots of our problems. Because how does God see it?
Well, God says you should submit anyway, and this is, I always say.
No, when you say submit anyway, submit to whom?
Well, we're submitting to our husbands, but ultimately we're hoping that our husbands are submitting to God. So we're submitting to God via our husbands, if you like. I mean, the way I look at it is that I'm submitting to God. But
Remember, as the male, I'm responsible for the family.
Yeah.
Spiritually. Okay? So I am, when God looks at my family, he's not going to ask you. He's going to ask me.
Yeah.
Right? For the conditions of our family.
Hallelujah.
Well, yeah, everyone should be saying that, hallelujah, yeah. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. But if I said, that's why it's more about preparation for these things to occur, because there's no point in you get into marriage and you start to butt head because of these things.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's what you do, it's the preparation you do before you get into that. So you've got to understand the person you want to, this person may look nice, but as I said to you, may look nice, but you're not marriageable.
What makes a woman marriageable?
Few things. Love.
What do you mean love? As in you loving her? Or
No, she loving you.
Okay.
Commitment, compassion, humility.
This is all what the woman should have.
Yes.
What should you have? No, that's
That's not the question.
I'm coming to that. Okay. Compassion, humility.
Yeah.
Go on.
Kindness. Because these are things that you need to put. Because as a man, I look at a woman, I think, okay, if you have those things, can you pass that down to our children?
Okay, so you're looking at the bigger picture.
You have to look when you're
But
married.
I'm not sure that all men do.
Well, this is the problem.
Yeah.
Why? The question you have to ask is, why are they not looking at the problem? Why are they looking at the bigger picture? Is it selfishness?
Possibly.
Is it insecurity?
Well, I don't know, or maybe it's just, maybe they just don't know to, because I think that what tends to happen is, and I'm generalizing again, I really hate generalizing, but what tends to happen is that a man, you see the girl, she's nice, I like her, starts to talk to her. Now, I've always said that a girl might be beautiful, and man, or somebody can look good on the outside.
On the outside.
After you've spoken to them for a few minutes, their outside just becomes ugly, and the other way around, where you see someone that's maybe is not as beautiful, but when you speak to them, their heart is so beautiful that you suddenly, they suddenly look beautiful to you. But let's just assume that this person that you're talking to is relatively good to look at is okay on the inside, not hugely great, but not bad. Then you might settle for that without thinking of all these things, that because I think there's I guess you have to be quite intentional, is what you're saying, and I'm not sure, because even if I speak to my husband, I wish he was here to back it up, but I don't. I mean, I know he always said, he knew he was going to marry me, but I don't know how intentional he was at looking at the sort of stuff that you are talking about. Now, I think with some people, maybe it comes out automatically, so you don't have to be ticking the list. Like,
of course.
And I hope that that's what happened with me.
Exactly. Yes.
But you know what I mean? I wonder how many men pre-marriage, because I know it's different now, but when we got married, we were, 20s.
Of course,
So how many men at that age are thinking like that?
Well, this is again, this is 2024. Things have changed and moved on in such a way that now people are getting married later.
That's true, yes.
But that comes with its challenges, because the later you're getting married, you also come into that marriage with your preconceived ideas of what marriage is.
Yeah.
So you're already grown.
Yes, and you've already seen many marriages.
And you've already made these preconceived ideas. This, I will do this, that. And one of the things of marriage is that marriage is as 3-4 chords sewn together.
Yeah.
There's not single chords.
Yeah.
Growing and you grow. No, we grow together.
Yeah.
And then Jesus solidifies that chord as you grow together. So it doesn't get looser. It gets tighter as you grow. Now, you've got to be prepared to grow with someone.
And this is so key, because I think sometimes, especially with older people, or not old, but older, getting married older, it's like they're set in their ways. So there's certain things that they don't want to change. And it's very, very much like, well, this is me. And once they say, this is me, and I'm a real thing of be yourself, be who you are. I think there's compromise, and you have to understand that, yes, this is me, but, because the whole thing about marriage, I believe, is to make you better. The better version of yourself. So if you are now saying, well, this is me, well, yes, this is you, but there's something that this man can bring to make you better, or that this woman can bring to make you better.
Yeah, I mean, these are for myself. I mean, I've been married for 26 years, I think. I don't know.
Can't get that wrong on the show.
I can't.
How many years have you been married
for? Almost 30 years I've been with the same woman.
Okay, fine. Okay. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Because the number is... I've been married for, but when I got married, I didn't marry someone who looked like me. Okay, I was a very dogmatic, Bible bashing kind of person. I married exact opposite. Okay, free will, liberty, free love. And God placed me with this woman, right? Iron sharpens iron. So we rubbed together. We became smoother and smoother, 2 stones. And that's how we grew. And that's how...
So now are you less dogmatic and she's less...
Oh, yeah. Now,
so
today...
you've now found a balance.
Balance. Yes, exactly. And all things, it's all about balance. Marriage is about balance. You're never too high or too low, You can always, if you're low, someone will pick you up. If you're too high, someone will pick you down. You know what I mean? So it's very important. But I think if you when you are looking to get married, is that, okay, who am I as a person? Because you also need to make sure you're slightly stable yourself.
Well, you see, I always say this thing. I always say, and I know that it's probably not true, but I feel like men are always looking for something. They know what they want in a wife. But they're not looking at themselves to say whether we
First
will
of all,
want them as a husband.
as husband,
You know what I mean? Like, you just want to give us.
Yeah,
who
yeah,
you
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah,
Can
yeah,
you
yeah.
get yourself
Yeah,
together as
yeah.
well? I mean, because and it's funny because I had a show about this. I called it "Are We Setting Our Girls Up for Failure?" Because I feel that again culturally, there's almost a. I mean, I think we're much better now. But it's almost like we feel like marriage is the end for our women, for our girls. There's no Nigerian girl I know that cannot be a good wife.
Yeah.
We have raised our
Raised them up,
girls to
yeah.
be good wives.
Yes.
They may choose not to be, but if you put them in the situation, they know how to cook, how to clean out, they know how to do everything that is expected of a wife.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know any Nigerian men that know how to be a good husband. Do you understand what I mean? They haven't been raised like that.
Up, yeah.
And so I think that whilst yes, I'm not saying that all girls are perfect, but I think that a lot of men look at what they want in a wife, and in our culture, they will probably find that in a wife because in the girls, because we've been raised that way. But we don't want you as you are. You people should.
Well, you see, again, I come back to my first principles. The men, we have failed to raise men.
Preach it.
So if we failed to raise men, everything else that comes after it will fail. Because we didn't do the first things.
Yeah.
And the first things that we need to raise men to understand what is a man, and how are you to operate in this world. If the society is only functions if you have good men.
Yeah.
If you have bad men, your society will collapse. It will collapse on itself.
Yeah.
Because what you do is like will replicate like. So if you have failures, those will replicate itself.
Yeah.
And on and on and on and on. And you don't know when that will end, or what will be the repercussions of that ending.
Yeah.
So we do have to focus on getting these men right. And when I say getting them right in terms of their relationship to women. Not in an adversarial way,
Yeah.
but in a loving way. Because you could also be my sister.
Yeah.
How do I respond to my sister?
Absolutely.
If I talk to you differently to I wouldn't talk to my sister that way, but I feel it easy to talk to you like,
Yep.
you know, that's not right. So there's a disconnect there, and that has to be addressed.
But what is that disconnect? Because you see, I always say this thing about, when people will talk about, he's, like let me use myself for example. I have some people that are very kind to me, but they're not kind people. They're choosing to be kind to me for whatever reason. Maybe they're looking for something or whatever. So I don't feel that makes you a kind person. So when you say that there's a disconnect, when you're talking okay to your sister, but you're not talking okay to another woman, I kind of struggle with that because I feel like then you're not okay anyway because you should be doing it to anybody.
Yes, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? If it's genuine.
If it's genuine, yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't just say, oh, because she's my sister, I treat her like this. It should be.
It should be, yeah.
So I don't know how that because I think you're right. There are a lot of people that do that. They treat their sisters different from, and I know that there's a certain way you would treat people slightly different, but the basic kindness, basic love, the basic, I don't think that should change from whatever your relationship is with whoever. So I don't know. I think anyway. Continue.
But if we then go back to that root, what if that man himself has not received love or never been trained in that way from another man?
Yeah. And do you think? Do you think that it has to be another man that trains him?
Yes.
It cannot be a woman.
It cannot be a woman.
Okay. So then the problem, as far as I'm concerned, right here is that where are those men? Because unfortunately, in society, a lot of the time, it is the women that are raising. I always say when people complain to me about, oh, the man is like this is my man, I'm always like, my generation, let us change the narrative because women raise men. And if we're raising this type of men that we have spoiled, we don't want to marry, then we need to change. Do you know what I mean? We need to change. So I do feel like there's a certain onus on the mothers as well. But I think it's I think you're right that there needs to be a father figure.
Because if you're saying because the things that the man will get away with the mother would not get away with the father.
Yes.
And the father will explain to the son what it's like to be a father.
Yes.
What it's like to be a man and how he ought to treat. This is, I suppose we say this is an ideal situation. But as a Christian, this is my ideal situation. Because if I'm not doing that, I'm accountable to God the Father,
Yeah.
who is also a father.
Yep. Yep.
So that should be passed down into me, and that should be passed down from me to my son, and likewise and so forth.
So I guess a mother can teach the son, well, not teach, but teach him
Can-
kindness and
yeah.
love and
That's
things,
what
but cannot teach him how to be a
Eh,
man,
be a man.
how to behave like
Exactly,
a man.
yes.
Okay, fair enough. Because I always get a bit annoyed with women when they're complaining about their men, because I'm thinking, but we women have to treat our sons. I was quite deliberate about how I brought up my sons. It's kind of backfired on me, but at least I was quite deliberate about how I brought them up. That I don't want a case where you always talk about she will make a good wife, but I want them to know that he will make a good husband. You know what I mean?
That part of the conversation seems to always get left out.
Yeah.
What about him?
Like, well, why must she be a good wife?
Yes,
And
yes.
Yeah, so it's that sort of thing. But I hear what you're saying about there's certain things a man has to input into a boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually.
Because even just simple things, kind of cleanliness,
Yeah.
learning how to cook.
There
And
we go.
I got chiefed out because I'm chief cook of my house. A, because I like good food, and B, I can't.
That was almost rude.
I don't like paying for bad food.
Yeah.
That's just one of my
But
principles.
who taught you to cook?
My grandmother,
Okay, so a woman.
a woman.
Just checking. Just
Yeah.
checking. So,
But because I clearly remember my dad telling me I was in the kitchen, and my dad shooed me out of the kitchen.
yeah.
Because but then all the top chefs are men.
True.
How does that work?
Yeah, interesting. I never thought of that.
They're not women.
I don't even know any
There are some women, but they're not.
top women chefs.
There are
I
some,
know a few. Yeah, actually. I do know
But
a few.
most of the
Yeah,
top,
most of them are.
Michelin star is not from a woman; it's from a man.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, interesting. So, okay, look, we've got that's how much time we have left. So, back to preparation.
Yes.
What does a man need to do?
What he needs to do, he needs to first and foremost, he needs to read the Bible.
Amen.
First and foremost, read the Bible. Secondly, learn to dress well. Yeah, because our standards of today have deteriorated. I'm constantly telling young men who are supposed to be sports people, and all you sports footballers out there, do not pull your pants down and try to play football for me, because that will not go down well. Where does that come from? Learn how to cook. Right? Learn how to cook food. I don't mean baked beans and eggs. I mean cook properly.
Yeah.
Because it'll keep you alive, and you'll pass that down
Exactly.
to your children. Learn the herbs and things like that. What goes into food, what goes into drink, nutrition, proper nutrition. Become athletic. Don't be a slob. It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy to yeah. And most importantly, is because all these are all-rounded things. Because when you have love, you can give out love. You can't give out something you don't have.
Yeah.
And if something lacking in your house, go to someone and talk about it.
Yeah.
Find a mentor. When the old adage is, when a student is willing,
The mentor appears.
mentor will appear. There we go.
Yeah. So, I think it's, I guess the key thing is know who you are.
Yes.
So that you can know who you want to be,
Who you want to
you
be.
can
Yeah,
be.
okay,
You know what I mean?
yes.
And
Yeah,
make
yeah,
that
yeah.
transition
Yeah,
in
that
between.
transition. Yeah,
Because I think sometimes, I don't know, I think sometimes we just it's good to accept who you are,
Yes.
but I feel like you should always be challenging yourself,
Of
competing
course.
against
Of
yourself, not
course.
against anybody else,
Of
but trying
course.
to be better and better and better. And I think sometimes people are just like, well, I'm there, I'm all this and
Oh, no, it's about growth.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
all about
I think growth. Okay, so if a man does all these things,
Yes.
then he will find the chick that he's after.
Not necessarily.
After all of that, they might still not find the woman.
Not necessarily.
Okay. So why do that then?
Well, you put yourself in a position.
Okay, where it's potentially possible.
Possible, yes. But I think if you did that anyway, I think God will bless you anyway. Because you are fulfilling the first rule of humanity.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
To go multiply.
yeah.
And that is the first rule of humanity
Yeah, yeah.
across. It doesn't matter who you are. This rule applies to everybody. So put yourself in a position to,
Yeah.
and then you will get, and be always. If you want to be if you want to be married, you've got to go and seek,
Yeah. Yep.
And then find out where you seek that fits you. Don't try and find someone that clearly doesn't fit you. You're doomed to failure from day one. Find someone that fits you, and then you'll have a nice, happy. Me, I can't stand arguing. I don't like women who like to argue. So I find a woman who doesn't like arguing. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess it's that thing about preparation, because it's not at the point when you find the woman that you need to start preparing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So because then it's probably too late. So, and I think that's important in all things in life. You do the preparation so that when the thing comes, you are ready.
You're ready.
You know what
Yes,
I mean? So it's like, there's a thing
exactly.
that they say. What they say?
Failure
Don't
to
I stay?
fail.
No. That stay ready so I don't have to get ready. Or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
It's one
something
of
like
these
that. Yes, okay.
funky things
Yeah,
that
yes.
they say. Okay, great. So that's it. If you want to get married. Well, we've just said a few things that we think that you can do, specifically from a male perspective, in terms of preparation for marriage, because I think, like I said, that women generally tend to be prepared to some extent more so for marriage than men are, and certainly in our culture, I think that is true. So let us know what you think. Do you think that women are generally prepared for marriage? Do you think men are prepared for marriage? Do you think that both of us have to get ready for marriage? Let us know. Follow us on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.